All right, Greg, how are you?
I'm doing I'm doing great, Paul.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So today is day three for most of us who have kids who have kids going back to school. Change is in the air. I'm looking outside. It's kind of windy. It's getting a little chillier. We got some gray skies. It's looking like rain. Kids are back in school. Yesterday, I think Starbucks came out with their fall drinks again, so you can get your salted caramel latte now, Dad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Pumpkin spice.
You gotta wait a little while till you can get your peppermint candy cane shake. It's
Oh
gonna be a
yeah.
little while longer. You gotta wait until at least October 15, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to hold off for the candy canes until mid-October, Dad.
I know it. You're giving all my secrets away.
So, I think what I wanted to talk about today, because the recurring theme that I keep running into when I'm talking to realtors and any marketplace is it feels weird. It feels weird out there. The market feels weird. Buyers feel weird. I'm not sure what's going on. And everyone wants to know, Paul, how is the market doing from a larger level? Like what's happening across Michigan? What's happening across Florida? Like what's going on? And it's pretty simple, I think. We are seeing interest rates sitting around that 6.7%. We're seeing prices still really, really high. And I think what we're seeing is we're seeing inventory building. We're seeing houses sitting a little bit longer. We're still very much a seller's market in most places. For those of you who don't know what a seller's market is, it's basically anything below that 4 month supply range is going to end up being a seller's market. Maybe 4 to 6 month supply is going to be kind of neutral, and above 6 months is going to be a buyer's market where a buyer has a lot more power. More inventory, buyers have more power. Less inventory, sellers have more power. So, as I sit here and I think about it, I go, okay, we've got the market changing, we're building inventory, and frankly, I think that's a good thing. I think that over the past decade, we could have sold more homes every single year had we had more listings to sell. I think we were limited by inventory. So we've had what now? Since about 2012, we've had nothing but good news in the real estate market most of the time. What is that? 14 years of straight growth,
Yeah,
straight.
with the exception of some of the Florida markets that got hit by the
Yep.
hurricane.
Yep. But overall, we've seen almost outside of a couple of areas where you have, insurance rates skyrocketing, hurricane issues, you have seen pretty much values increasing tremendously every single year for about 14 years. And we can't live in a world forever where prices keep skyrocketing and interest rates stay at 3.5%. It's just not possible. It's not normal. We've become accustomed to it. Like, oh, growth, 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 and amazing interest rates. And over the past year or so, we've had interest rates coming back and rearing their head at us a little bit. But where I go with all of this is that those are things we can't control. We can't control inventory. We can't control pricing. We can't control rates. We can't control natural disasters. All of that's out of our control. But there are things we can control. We can control how we show up to our sellers. We can control how we're handling ourselves on social media. We can control every single daily activity we do to build our businesses. And so I think where I sit here is that there's been a lot of people who have experienced what I would call a relatively easy market to get a listing, sell a listing, you sell it fast, you jump on social media, look at me, I sold this in 24 hours. I'm a fantastic realtor. Yay, 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 fireworks, celebrations, dancing for the camera, whatever, right? You look like a hero pretty easily. So now I look at this and I go, okay, so let's say you get a listing appointment. I think the real thing I'm trying to encourage people to do now is right now is the time where I would dig into how you're handling your day to day. What are you doing every single day to bring value to your customers or your hopeful customers rather than just posting social media content and staying visible? All of that's fine, stay visible, but can you go past your competitors by creating real value? What can you do every single day to create real value? And one of the things we were talking about yesterday at the coffee hour in Muskegon was how are you guys handling your listing appointments? Because when I used to do a listing appointment in the Great Recession, I was up against 2 to 4 realtors almost every single time I was sitting down at that table. I knew upfront, okay, I'm competing. There's four other realtors who want this listing as bad as anything else, and I'm competing against them. And at that moment, you have a choice. What do you want to compete on? How do you want to compete? Do you want to compete in their sandbox where they give a number, walk around the house, talk about how beautiful the home is, give a couple recommendations for staging, give a couple recommendations for painting, and then here's a price? Or do you want to go and compete in a different way? And I think what you taught me was we were going to compete on being an educator and a guide in that moment. And where I'm going with that is that when we would sit down at that listing table, we wouldn't just do the traditional, let's walk around. Oh, cool. I love your kitchen. I love your bathrooms. We would say all those things. But where we would push past our competitors is we would say something very simple. I'd sit down at the kitchen table. I'd go, hey, before we talk about your home and go through like renovation ideas or painting and wallpaper and carpeting and flooring and all that kind of stuff, has anyone taken the time to give you guys a rundown on the actual marketplace? Has anyone talked to you guys about month supply, pricing trends, the past 10 years, what happened during COVID? Why did COVID go crazy? What's happening today? And I would say if they haven't, can I take a moment to walk you guys through the actual market? And almost every single time they would say, absolutely, no one's ever done this for us. Show us what you've got. And I'd pull out those charts with my little 15 years of data on them showing pricing, inventory, the month supply things, all the correlations. I'd show them where COVID existed. I'd show them where the Great Recession was. And after we walked through the whole entire thing, I go and see where we are now. See how inventory is building. See how prices softening. Do you see how interest rates are climbing? And by the time of when you're done with that whole entire conversation, it makes your next conversation exponentially easier because every other realtor is going to be competing on price, and you've just said, "Hey, look, price is a variable here, but what I'm competing on is who's going to educate you the most, who's going to prepare you the most, who's going to show you the actual marketplace versus just walking in, being shiny and flashy, talking about a price." Because I feel like if I walk in, walk around, and just give you a price on your home, now when you go evaluate those other two or three realtors, you're just picking the price you want. You're picking your realtor on price now. You're no longer picking me because I educated you or I spent time with you. I showed you what was going on in the actual marketplace. So that's kind of where I wanted to talk to you today is like, what do you think about that? What were your thoughts when you were going up against in a tough marketplace where things were shifting and you're competing every day?
Yeah, no, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and I do believe it. The normal protocol would be for an agent to go in, walk through the house, take a few notes, and then sit down and talk about price and maybe some staging things. And I think that where you're going here is nobody's going to hire you unless they trust you, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And so you could do the same uh, kind of a presentation about the history of the marketplace to educate them and then helping them see where they're at right now, whether the curve is going up or down or which way it's going. But it's about building trust. And no one's going to hire you, no one's going to sign any document unless they trust you. And so I think what you're doing by taking that approach is you are doing something different, number one. And also it's more of a relaxed environment when you do this also because you're not really talking about them to begin with.
And you're not talking about yourself. To me, it takes the pressure off and it turns the marketplace as the challenge, not what am I going to do that's going to be so magical here that's going to sell your home faster than my competitor. Because frankly, I believe in the marketplace. And yes, I believe people can stage homes nicely. Yes, I believe you can price homes better. Yes, I believe photos can make a difference. All these things are true. But in reality, we're up against the marketplace. And for me, it was never, I never wanted to bang on cymbals, bang on tambourines, and show them all the special things that I would do. I wanted to sit next to them at the table, and together we look at the marketplace. We're on the same side of the table now, and the marketplace is over here versus me versus them. It's like, hey, I want to align with them and talk about the marketplace that we're watching right now, and how do we best position your home in this marketplace?
Then I think the next part of this process is that um, I might say something like, I don't want to assume anything here. Maybe, whoever your friend is or somebody recommended me into this process or whatever it might have been, but I don't want to assume anything. So tell me a little bit about what your goals are here. Why am I sitting here right now with you? And
Hmm.
what's your hopes? Do you have goals? What are there going to be points of stress here that are going to be difficult for you? Um, And then how can and then I might spend some time talking about like how I've helped other people using some examples of how I've reduced stress or how I've helped people reach their goals. But yeah, so currently what's interesting, Paul, I was just looking at something I pulled up here earlier that how people currently choose real estate agents. It's online. Anybody can go find this. But 80% of buyers contact only one agent before hiring them. 67% of first-time buyers hire the first agent they speak to. 75% of sellers interview only one listing agent. And 43% of buyers find their agent through a personal referral. And, this year, it looks like we're going to track pretty close to selling 4 million homes for the third year in a row. We sold as an industry almost 7 million homes back in 2003-4 range. So we're
Hmm.
way below the highs. Um, and if there's 1.4, 1.5 million realtors, if there's 4 million sales, double that because of size, you got 8 million. So 8 million divided by 1.5 million agents is about little five and a half sides per agent. So that number's been trending down, the number of sales per agent. And so I think that, we've got inside of Five Star, of course, we've got new people, we've got people that have got a few years, we got people that sell a lot, we got people that don't sell a lot. But, um, I think that no matter where you fall on that spectrum, that if you do what Paul was talking about, the first thing that has to happen is you have to know this stuff, which means you got to do a little research. But this is really easy stuff today. Everything is out there. It's all online. It's all on AI. I mean, if you don't know, then
Go to home base and look at the market data on home base. We've got I think we go back to 2012 in terms of data where you
yep.
can look at the actual marketplaces, zip codes, counties, cities, school districts, and you can learn and you can explain it. You can print them, bring them to your listing appointment. But you know, I don't think that agents do this anymore.
So I don't know what the fact is on that right now because I haven't talked, I guess, with enough people recently to find out what they're doing. But I do know this that what you're talking about is what I would call more consultative. There's a lot less selling going on here. There's a lot less
Mhm.
pressure. Um, but you have to know your stats. You have to know
Yep.
your numbers and you have to be educated. And so you have to spend some time um, understanding what's going on. And then you can dissect this down. Paul did kind of a general overall thing, but you can take this to a city, you can take it to a school district, you can take it to a neighborhood, you can take it to a single development, and you can do the same thing all the way down to help these people understand what's going on. Because if they understand it, they're hopefully not going to be fighting against you when you actually get into the real meat of, the pricing, the timing. Um, but again,
Yep.
so if a buyer says or a seller says, if you say, "Hey, tell me a little bit about what your goals are," and they say, "Well, we hope to find a home in the next year, or we hope to sell within the next year." Well, there's information that's important.
Well, can you see my screen right here?
Yep.
This right here, you can print this out. You can download a PDF of this for any market you're going into, and it's going to give you going back This one goes back to 2012. This is Tampa right here. This goes back to 2012. You can look at what happened here. You want to talk about COVID? Show them what happened with COVID for a second here, right? Show them what happened with price per square foot. Show them what happened with new listings. See this, look at this right here. If anyone has bought in the past several years, they should be seeing this chart.
Yeah.
These charts are pure gold in trying to explain to us a customer what's going on. Why are prices the way they are? Why are
So
we not
good.
experiencing multiple offers? What is happening in the marketplace?
Yep. And you can print this off on any area
Yeah.
that you've got the whole what from
Yep.
Florida, Michigan,
Yep.
Detroit, Lansing,
Yep.
Kalamazoo, Travers, it's all
Yep.
on.
And you can do vacant land, you can do condo townhome, single family, all residential. But this is where I think people need to, if you're in real estate and you don't know how to talk about these numbers. And by the way, this is version 2 of Homebase that's coming out soon. You're seeing right here. That's why it doesn't look like Homebase. This is the next version of it that I've been working on. But this if you can't explain this information, you should sit on this page and open up your ChatGPT, start screen snapping it, and send it over to say, how do I explain this? What does this mean? How can I tell a consumer about this? How can I explain this at my listing appointment? Upload the PDF and work on those talking points because the more natively that you can speak this language, right? The more fluently you can speak this data, the more trust you're going to build immediately outside of just your social media presence or your flyers or your photos that you hire or the sign that you put in the yard or you know what I mean? It or your broker open. This is going to be a differentiator for you at the listing table, I promise you, because most people that I speak to today, if I go, so tell me about the marketplace, like give me actual data, it's very difficult for a realtor to spit it out because they've been so moving so fast that they haven't really been looking at the data, working on going, how do I sharpen my tools here?
Yeah. So that I mean, I really would like to just let this sink in, Paul, and rest right here. I don't think we need to say a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And this may be one of our shorter live streams, but I think that there's a lot of meat right here in what you just brought up. And we could spend more time talking about list to sale price ratio, your buyer negotiation performance, your annual transaction count, your average days on market.
But
Are
you know
you,
what? I have out of the hundreds of listing appointments I've been to, I've had like on one hand have I had someone ask me for my specific stats.
yeah. Yeah. I do think though that, agents will go in and we'll talk about some stats, but I don't know that they mean anything to the
I guess what
public.
I'm trying to say here is that you as the person there, you are the guide of your conversation. And you get to determine what you guys are going to talk about that day. If you have a strategy in mind and you take control of the meeting and you start guiding them through the meeting as if you're here to teach them and you're not here to be interviewed by them necessarily. If you just shift the position a little bit where you show up as like, "Hey, I'm here, I'm casual. I'm going to run you through what I've got going on here. I'm going to talk about the market with you." Pretty soon they're along for the ride with you and they're just enjoying the conversation. They're enjoying the show. They're enjoying the data. And it takes the pressure off of you to be on the in the hot seat.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So anyway, so what we're basically doing right now is encouraging all of you to go to Homebase, plug in a couple of areas, look at the stats, and then on your next appointment, whether it's a buyer or a seller, bring that information along. It's a leave behind that they can look at. And most likely, if there's other competitors walking in, they will not have done this.
And honestly, I think what you should do is ask them for permission, be like, "Hey, would you guys mind if I took a minute to walk you through the marketplace?" And let them say yes. Okay,
Right.
get them saying yes to you from the moment you sit down.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Paul, good ideas, good thoughts.
All
And
right, jump into home base. Let me know what you think about version 2. I'm
when is
excited
that
for to bring that to you guys soon here.
when is it coming out?
I think we're gonna release it pretty quick here. I'll just before we go, I'll just show you real fast. Let me just pull it up again real quick. I'll show you kind of some stuff here. Um, you know, I was I was kind of showing this the other day on my AI live stream here, but I don't think people understand what you can do here with Homebase. So for example, if I said price out 844, let me see it. So this is what you can do this on the current one right now, guys, but this is just the new little Alex chat here. So you
Yeah.
click go on this, and it is now pulling actual listing data. It's pulling market stats. It is preparing an analysis on this property right now in real time. And now it's going to begin writing this analysis. And here it goes. It is now spitting out a deep analysis on this property using all the data that I just showed you. It is not coming from the web. It is not finding random things. It's going, hey, look, here's all the valuations we see here. We've got Zestimate at 1.78 million, batch data AVMs at 1 million. Ours comes in through 5 star comes in at just about 1.03 million. It gives you a breakdown. Here's all the most recent comps, the best comparables. It gives you kind of some highlights on each of the comparables. It gives you active listings that are competing, and it does rank by school district. And then at the end, after it goes through all of this, it tells you the market context for the market you're operating in by the zip. And then if you want to update it, like, hey, we got brand new windows, we put a brand new HVAC in, we just did the landscaping, it'll reevaluate the price for you in real time. You can then email this, print this, or build a CMA right from this on that property. But that's in here. I'll show you real quick here too. We got light mode, dark mode now. We've got all sorts of different colors you can pick. So if you like, you want to customize it and make it look a little bit like it's yours, you can do that. You can do that. We got dark mode versions of all these colors as well. But I'm pretty excited. We're going to be launching some other things in here. Um, for example, we're going to be having a custom postcard builder where you can actually build your own postcards versus using the standard defaults. We're going to have an email campaign builder where you could build out an email campaign that goes out once every other week or once a month, whatever cadence you want, and you can control the content. Um, yeah, the other thing that we're going to do here is we're going to build in an API so all of you guys can take this data that I just showed you and you can plug it right into your version of ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Grok, whatever you're using. You can just grab that data and your tool will be able to go in, pull what it wants. It'll be able to grab your own personal transactions, tell you about your own personal business. So that's all coming down the pipeline here. But for now, if you guys want to, I would encourage you to go to market data, play with market data, look at the numbers, save your favorite marketplaces, study it. You can download each of these little graphics individually. You can download a full PDF of them. It's got your 30-year interest rates down here. It shows you the affordability index for that marketplace, what you need to earn to live in that market. Some good stuff here. So just play around with it. Check it out. And yeah, like I said, we'll be getting version 2 out here pretty quick.
All right. Cool. Thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate
So
it.
thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon. See you
All
guys.
right.